Hello, everyone. This is the Plat Committee. We are currently waiting on the 2 members for a quorum to arrive, and we will get started shortly.
screen.
And I didn't bring an agenda, so
That's okay.
if you
It's
could
just
just,
one item.
I know. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Is
we're
it just
live.
us two? Is there anyone?
Yeah, it's just
online?
that's in person.
Okay. Hello, I'd like to call to order the Monroe County Plat Committee meeting, June 16th, 2022. 4 p.m. meeting to order. Do we typically call the roll? Okay, so we'll have Ms. Nestor Jelen call the roll.
Okay, so, Jerry Pittsburgh,
Here,
Sean Henry Randolph.
Here.
Okay, so we have 2 members and a quorum in person.
All right, and then we have no administrative business, no old business, and only one item under new business. This is a plat committee recommendation. So case number SPP 22-7. Pinnacle Business Park Major Subdivision Preliminary Plat Amendment 1. To lot 1-3, 5-7, 10-12, 14-16 and dedicated right-of-way dedication waiver and waiver of final hearing petition. And that's Ann Cursilius is case. And Ann, if you'd like to take it away.
Absolutely. So this is a preliminary plat amendment to the full business park major subdivision. It was recorded in already getting, let's see, recorded in 2021. Let's see. So we do have a link here at the top and under the exhibits to the original meeting minutes where the plat subdivision was approved. So we're doing a few different things here, but really this preliminary plat amendment was triggered because Monroe County Highway, with the subdivision, there was dedicated right of way along the Prairie Pike. That included areas that were later identified as affected areas. Within the PCB contamination on the site, it ended up being a liability from the Monroe County Highway Department. So they requested that the petitioner basically undedicate and take back that portion of right of way. In addition to that, there's also a few other changes to right of way. And I do have a couple of illustrations that hopefully will make it a little bit more clear as to what's changing. So because of this, the petitioners are also going to go ahead and adjust lot lines of a few areas, and they're also creating a new lot out of the area that's already been platted. So I'm going to skip right down to what we're going to be looking at. These are the lots that we'll be looking at specifically that are listed and addressed under and noticed in this petition. So the property will remain IG, general industrial use. Profile Parkway has been built out. And this right here, stub and circle roundabout is called Gates Drive. And keep going. Okay. So maybe let's start with the original here. So right here, they are undedicated right away. You can see this is still the right of way line. That right of way will stay along Curry, but up here north of West Profile Parkway, that will go back towards the road. The lot lines of lot 5 here is changing. It used to go over across 6. Lot 4 is changing because Gates Drive, they're not going to dedicate this portion of right of way. This used to be here on lot 7.
But you,
Yes.
that's kind of a question I think is somewhat outside of this petition, but
Let's go.
really draws my attention to those highlighted portions as well. So would you just go over that just one more time about?
Oh, I'll keep going. And we
Okay,
can
and then
talk
we'll
about it.
cover
Yeah.
there.
So there, let's go back up here. This is the same area. Gates Drive right away used to stop Lot 7, so now this area is gonna be dedicated right of way. So there's little changes in lot size. Down here, these two lots that they're creating a new skinny lot 16 here. This used to be a part of, let's see, this is 10, I believe, 10 and 11. So also right of way change, there used to be right of way dedicated here for. I'm blanking on the name, Cohen Drive. So Cohen Drive is not being pursued any longer by the property owner petitioner. It was not a requirement under the last major subdivision. It was something that they were building and doing. We really have no concern over this area being removed. This lot 16 access with its creation will have to be accessed through an easement that is already platted along this common area and drainage easement. That's lot 14. It goes down and meets Jonathan Drive. It goes across another portion of the property and there will be a piece of there. So there's a bit of a summary here as to what is changing, just so we can kind of keep track. Now, Tron, is there a specific area that you wanted to look at, like the Gates Drive area?
If you still have more, I can wait.
I mean, that's the summary of the changes that they're proposing under this preliminary plat amendment. Their plans have changed a bit, but they've now solidified and we have the filing. We expect this to go to planning commission next month. We're not waiting on any kind of outstanding documentation. It's just some plot edits that we want to see.
I mean, I guess there we go. So I guess a lot of this was precipitated due to the county not wanting to take liability with actively doing construction in an affected area.
So this, yes, and there's also parking lot already. This is the parking lot that's being used for Catalyst, right? It's already built out over this area.
Right.
The highway is more than happy for them to take that area back. They have no future plans of Curry Pipe being expanded, so it's really not needed for them. They're also, the highway department is happy to have the new dedicated area for Gates Drive.
I guess my question is, and forgive me if it's a stupid question, is as far as like infrastructure, like sidewalks and things like that, are those still going to be constructed?
I believe they're
Already are. That's why I said sorry.
Yeah.
I haven't been.
No,
down there.
you're fine.
So I thought a lot of that infrastructure has been put in place. So the sidewalks and everything are still there. Just the county isn't interested in having the right of way, I guess. I don't really have an issue there, but if we go back to that one other lot on the more northern eastern part, kind of where it shows that easement. So what I have delineated from this survey, the original one, that area is in an active area as well.
Contamination area?
Yeah, and so is that going to hinder what the hopes of the highway department has with future connectivity? It was a very complicated discussion in the first part because the redevelopment commission came through and put in a lot of this infrastructure. And now there was hopes to create even more connectivity, but we couldn't do that parallel with this because we had to have this project in place to then maybe pursue other funding sources to then create the second part of the connectivity. Now, I know I'm a little outside of kind of the parameters I think that we should be looking at today, but this whole thing kind of was brought to us with, a number of interesting components and nuances. So my main concern is, are we currently asking for a place that we're going to be in the same issue that we're trying to circumvent today, with it being an active contaminated area of where they want to have future connectivity?
So I'm sure Paula has a comment on this, but my understanding is that because the contamination is just one of the factors along Curry Pike.
That's not, okay, so that's
But
not
it-
why okay. Sorry, go
We
ahead.
don't.
Yeah,
we
I
don't-
think Katie and Warren have pointed out the extension there at the northeast corner is not in the affected area.
Okay,
Affected area.
well, yeah, we delineated it and I have kind of an overlay looking at, and so as I look at everything, okay. I mean, if that's kind of where we're at, and that's not gonna cause the same concern, and I think, Ann, I'm sorry for jumping in, and it sounds like there are a number of elements that create this concern, and it's not just due to it being an infected or active contaminated area, right? As far as why the county doesn't want that first part of the right of way, and I guess that's more of a highway question, Paul, if you're comfortable with answering. If not, that's fine. My main point of bringing it up is that we don't find ourselves in the same situation, and that we're actively asking for an easement that can give the connectivity that was so desired through this process with the support of the redevelopment commission and kind of the goals of creating a better connected network of our streets and roads and bridges and highways and interstates.
Yeah, that dedication there on the northeast corner is for the extension, the vernal, we're calling it the vernal pipe connector, which will be a bridge over the railroad and connect to Sunrise Greetings.
Mhm.
So that's something we would have had to purchase in the past, but now it's being dedicated as right of way in exchange for the vacation of Cohen Drive.
And my only reason of bringing it up is that we look into it to make sure that we don't find ourselves in the same situation. And if so, let's find a good dedicated easement that could give us that connectivity. So that's all I really had on that. And outside of that, I'm still just, I really loved the connectivity that it was going to provide through the Cohen area. And then I just want to get it straight. What you're saying is they want to create a small lot and they're still going to access that from the southern part, but they don't want to make the full connectivity. And is that because of the stormwater bioretention area, it being an active contaminated site, or the fact that it wasn't really a condition put forth through the whole process itself?
Okay, so you're asking why is Cohen Drive being removed?
Yeah,
Okay.
but not just that. I thought you were saying that new sliver, they're going to still access it
There
from the
is a-
southern part. So they're going to still create
There is an easement here already.
so they're going to build out a road to go all the way there, but then
It's
they're
a
not
driveway. It'll just be a
driveway, but then they don't, okay. I don't see why we wouldn't just still want that connectivity,
So, just to,
but this is all being brought by the highway department, so like, I mean.
no, so the petitioner is BB Profile. And what Ann is saying is that there's support from the highway department. The Gates Drive extension that we talked about during the last time that this property was subdivided, we weren't able to ask for right of way connecting up to the north because the plans weren't solidified at that time. Since then, the plans have been solidified and BB Profile is the new owner of the lot. They said that they would be willing to work with the highway department to dedicate that as right of way, not an easement, up to Sunrise Greeting Connection because the plans have been solidified in return for getting rid of Cohen. And my understanding from the redevelopment commission and the highway department is that there are no longer any plans to connect Cohen Drive to Jonathan. So there are not gonna be any road improvements done by BB Profile. It's actually gonna be done by the highway department using the funds allocated.
If I may.
Sure, it's just.
Well, first of all,
it's a
the
fun
primary
process.
thing here is some old fashioned horse trading. You know, we're giving up right of way on the front to gain right of way on the back. You know, so that's a zero sum game. But the thing that I want to point out, Ron, I don't know how familiar you are with this area, but this is marshy ground.
Oh, I know, yeah.
Yeah, it's terrible. But then you also have connectivity anyway, because you have Jonathan going around here and Profile Parkway going through now. These lots can derive access from Curry. I mean, I don't see any gain there, especially, you know, if you're gonna try to put a boulevard standard road in there like what you're coming off of. It'd take up a lot of ground.
So I got a pretty good poker face and I don't really have a position. I'm just trying to understand. And actually, I would defer more to less disruption in this area, less tearing up the ground and, dispersing, what contaminants, or never mind, what pollutants are still in there is better. I think less disturbance is better. In my opinion, just generally, but I'm trying to understand, and there's a lot of nuances that went behind this of just getting to this point. So I'm trying to make sure that all of that intent is still there, and it seems like it. And
Right.
So,
Well, even if they just put in a road to like service road standards, you still have the connectivity in an emergency.
mhm,
You're just not running a lot of traffic through there, which I think is probably for the better anyway, because Profile Parkway is becoming more heavily traveled. Jonathan is quite heavily traveled.
and they both have.
So you
stops.
so you just change, you just take away one intersection in the middle of a through road on two different through roads.
Yeah, plus Gates Drive has got plenty of capacity, so that Cohen Drive's not really necessary to
Just
handle
making sure we're
through traffic.
what we need to get Paul. So I do really appreciate you entertaining those questions. And then, yeah, I mean, I'm now curious more. Is there any other questions?
No,
I was,
do you have a mirror? I have a contact that's not cooperating, so I'm gonna step out just long enough to fix that. I've got to find it. I'll be right back.
I'll wait until Jerry gets back, just so we have
Okay.
both numbers. Would you want to scroll to the page where it shows the recommendation? Apologies for being a little tardy. I will literally had a 12:30, 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and that's 4 o'clock.
No problem. Busy Thursday.
March 2020 for the calendar. Is that just a nice picture
That is when time froze,
or? Okay.
and we have never changed it. That's when we left the office.
Oh, okay. Nice. I remember that day very well.
Thank you, I'm terribly sorry for the inconvenience. But
No worries.
it was rolling farther and farther back in my eye and it becomes uncomfortable. So my eyes are dry from being outside. It's nasty, but the or the pollen and stuff. So, all right, go ahead.
No,
Take-
no
take us
worries.
where
We
you
just
are.
kind of paused. I was just gonna kind of bring up staff's recommendation. And then I guess just due to like, you know, the sensitivity of that land, I'm curious, was there any other concerns from the MS4 coordinator, since, this petition has came up and to today?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay, so no other concerns.
And these are just small, the
Mhm.
conditions right now are just edits to the plat, one of which has already been addressed, I think, but actually maybe both have already been addressed. The packet's been published.
And then I guess it is a public meeting. What we have done is now kind of, I don't know if it's a deviation, but, at some of our earlier meetings where we just make a recommendation, we haven't opened it up to public comment. Due to the fact it's just a recommendation and it's going to the full
Right.
plan commission.
Right,
Unless you want to maybe open it up to public comment, I'm going to recommend that we stay course of that new kind of
no,
process.
I think that's best. I mean, if somebody wants to be heard on this, the most appropriate place to be heard is at plan commission anyway.
Right, and I'm not,
Since this is only a recommendation vote, I don't think public comment necessarily applies, so.
okay,
I'm sensitive to the idea, thank you, though.
okay, yeah, just want to make sure you had input.
Right.
And then I was gonna defer to either way you wanted to go. so.
Okay, what is the waiver request up there that they wanted? I can't remember that now.
It is a right of way dedication, legal did advise us that that would be the best way to undedicate the right of way. That's already been dedicated. So that's
So the waiver of final hearing though doesn't get addressed until plan commission.
correct.
So, okay, I just wanted to be sure I knew what it was. Okay, good.
So I would like to open it up to the petitioner, even though the petitioner is the highway. Do I have that correct? Or
No,
sort of?
petitioner is BB profile, and I believe Warren Cutshot is on.
Okay. And Warren, if you'd like to address us, please do so. If not, that's completely fine. Again, all of this is moving to the regular plan commission meeting and admin meeting. And I think you could speak then as well, but it's your floor. Go ahead. If you'd like.
Sure,
to
I'm
address us.
here. Warren Cutchall, thanks, thanks, Ann. I believe Katie Stein is also on the call. She's the engineer that's been working on this for many years now. I'm really here to answer questions. One thing that I would point out, Lot 16 does have an existing driveway that's been there, I think, for 20 years. It's about 30 feet wide, so that already is there. And spanning the swale that's also now constructed, you can see it on page 4, would be problematic. So that's part of the reasoning behind creating access off of Jonathan to that lot 16. The remainder of the subdivision will have access off of Pinnacle.
And I guess my one question would be, probably for Katie, just to maybe confirm that there should be no issues with gaining that connectivity desired by the county on your northern, eastern part of this property.
Yeah, Katie Stein-Smith Design Group. Tron, that is correct. We got the legal description from, I believe, DLZ, the engineers for the county, to make sure that we have the correct right-of-way shown and delineated on this plat for that area.
Okay, perfect. Just wanted to make sure. Thank you. I have no further questions. Jerry?
No, just what is the condition of that road that would have been Cullen or is Cullen?
So on the north side, there's nothing there. It's just it's an old, it's a field basically. Where you see yeah, where you see the green structure going east to west, that's a drainage ditch. It's been, completed in the last year or so. It's part of a comprehensive drainage plan for the entire subdivision. And you can't see the drive on this page very well, but it's in really good condition. I think it was built to industrial standards. So Katie, do you have any specs on that road by any chance?
I don't know how it was built. I'm measuring right now in CAD and it's about 27 feet wide total curb and gutter, and it's entirely out of affected area as well. The entire 50-foot drainage access easement is all outside of affected area.
Okay, good. So, I mean, it's not desirable as a through street really, but in an emergency situation, it's usable, you'd say.
It's a great drive, and the intent is for it to service lot 16. So, and it could be an emergency, potentially, lots 8, 9, 10, and 11 would go with lot 16 to a single user, and that could be like an emergency southern access to a larger user of that entire portion.
Right. That's a good thing. Now, are we giving that up as a county road, or is it still gonna be county road?
To be clear, that is not, that portion was, I believe, reserved for future,
Right,
future acquisition. That has never been pursued any further by the county. Paul might be able to answer that.
I think I remember when this plat got reorganized back before, and I know because Tom Mormon was with Cowden Group at that time. But yeah, so I mean, you'll probably label that private drive then to cut down on crossover traffic.
Correct.
Good. Well, I think it should be. So with that, all my questions are answered. Thank you.
Are there any other comments from the Plat Committee, or would you like to send a recommendation to the Plan Commission?
Yeah, I'm comfortable with sending a recommendation. I would be favorable of this. I'll make the recommendation since there's a two. I recommend a favorable recommendation to the Plan Commission based on the findings that the proposed preliminary plat meets the subdivision control ordinance and subjected to the Monroe County Highway and MS4 coordinated reports with the following plat edits. Petitioner to update lot 16 easement to be 50 foot in width and add the affected areas onto the plat amendment. Also identify that drive is private on the plat as well as a third recommendation.
I like that. Thank you, Tom.
Looking for a second.
Seconding.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Jackie, if
Okay.
you'd like to call the roll.
Yep, there's been a motion and a second to send a favorable recommendation for SPP 22-7 with the conditions listed in the staff report, with the addition of adding a note about the prior Cohen Drive Road being a private drive. Jerry Pittsford,
Yes.
John and Ray Randolph.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries 2-0 to send a favorable recommendation to the plan.
Awesome, thank you. That's our last order of business. I just want to say thank you for allowing me to kind of dig into this a little bit and just make a little more sense, a little more heads to tails of what's going on. So I appreciate the time.
And thank you for allowing me to fix my contact in the middle of everything.
Oh yeah, you don't want to get too far, then it's even harder. I will call for adjournment.
Second and.
All right, thank you. Thank you, everybody.